So the Israelites were in this position where they had kind of a bunch of ups and downs, but mostly downs, especially with their kings and with doing things the wrong way, with losing wars. They were not in a very powerful position at this point, and they were definitely struggling spiritually. This was after many kings not just turned away from God, but turned to other idols. And they were losing a lot of battles. So you've kind of got this scenario where we shift gears and we start looking at the commander of one of those armies that was defeating Israel. His name was Namaan, and he was over Aram, and he was really close with the king, and the king idolized this guy. Everybody loved this guy. He had every statistic, every point on the resume. Namaan was the man. Who the man? Namaan. Okay? Namaan was the man. So there's this guy named Namaan. And he participated in conquering Israel. But Namaan, despite all this great accolades, he had leprosy. Leprosy is a very dangerous, uncurable disease that will slowly kill you in like the worst way. Not the greatest note to start a sermon on, but this leprosy thing, if you ever want to not sleep, Google what leprosy is, all right? Every part of you starts to basically fall off. And on top of that, when you have leprosy, you essentially have to tell everybody, hey, I'm unclean wherever you go. It doesn't matter what your status is, ain't nobody's getting close to you. Okay, so that's what this guy had. Now, in one of his conquerings of Israel, Naaman's conquerings of Israel, they take back a servant girl. One of these servant girls that they take back after they likely destroyed her city and did all these things, she becomes a maid to Naaman and his wife. This girl overhears a conversation that Naaman is having with his wife and basically says, hey, if you would go to Israel, there's a prophet there, and the God of Israel would heal you. So Naaman goes to his king, humbles himself and goes to his king, and basically presents this to the king. The king says, sure, go ahead and go. Naaman collects all of, it's something at least $1.2 million worth of gifts. He goes through the long trek to Israel, humbles himself and goes to that king of Israel, and essentially wants to be healed. He asks to be healed. The king then says, go to Elijah. So Naaman, after going to his wife, going to the servant, going to his king, he goes all the way on the trek to Israel, talks to the neighboring king, and then he goes to Elisha's house. When he goes to Elisha's house, Elisha doesn't give him the time of day, sends his servant out, and gives him instructions to be healed, is to dip himself in the Jordan River, which is a super dirty, gross, grimy river at the time. And if you dip in that thing 7 times, the Lord will heal you. Naaman hears this, storms off, angry. It actually says that he turned and went away, and then he got angry again. So this guy's just getting angry. And after he gets angry, another servant, first servant, second servant, humbly approaches him, gives him a good argument to, hey, go try it. Naaman does. He gets down, he gets humble, he takes off his armor, he humbles himself, he dips and gets lower and lower 7 times. He is healed. Once he's healed, spoiler alert, he turns to the God of Israel. He's changed not just on the outside, he's actually transformed. His skin is brand new. And then he basically says, I am your servant to Elisha, and he talks about how he's going to worship the God of Israel.